Hello, dear students. Welcome to another lecture on Gyandut lecture series. I am Dr. Madhvika Mathur, and today I will discuss the poem The Lotus Eaters with you. This poem was written by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and we'll be doing part 1 of the poem. Tennyson was born in the year 1809 and he left for heavenly abode in 1892. He was the poet laureate during Queen Victoria's reign. His first solo collection of poems was called Poems, which was chiefly lyrical. Much of his work was based on classical mythologies such as Ulysses, In Memoriam, AHH, that is, it was commemorated the memory of his friend Arthur Henry Hallam. His famous short lyrics are Break, 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 The Charge of the Light Brigade, Tear, Idle Tears, and Crossing the Bar. His notable blank verse includes Idylls of the King, Ulysses, and Tithonus. I will begin with the analysis of the poem. The Lotus Eaters was a poem which was published in the year 1832. And this poem was inspired by his trip to Spain with his close friend Hallam, where they visited the Pyrenees mountain. This poem describes a group of mariners who, upon eating the lotus flower, are put into an altered state and isolated from the outside world. So in Greek mythology, lotus eaters is a tribe encountered by the Greek hero Odysseus, whom we also know as Ulysses, during his return after the fall of Troy. What happened was, because of the north wind, he, along with his crew, was driven away. They lost their track in the sea. So, in this poem, it represents the challenges that Odysseus had to face on his way back to Ithaca. He was going back to his home, that is Ithaca, and on the way back, they lost their way in the sea, and their first stoppage was at an island of the lotus eaters or the lotophages. So these lotus eaters, they looked very innocent. They were like any other normal human being. So Odysseus and his men, when they stepped down on that island, they were greeted by a group of these lotus eaters. And they offered them this intoxicating fruit from a tree. And this is not like the lotus that we know. It is not that lotus, the lotus flower. But they called it lotus. And they got this name due to the unique properties that kept them in a state of forgetfulness. That is, as soon as they consumed that lotus flower, they were into that stage of forgetfulness. So now I will tell you about the capsule summary of the poem. A crew of sailors is about to arrive in a new and strange country. When they reach there, they find the island full of streams and mountains and waterfalls. It was a tropical island with a lethargic atmosphere. Pretty soon, they meet the natives, called the Lotus Eaters, who are a mysterious bunch of people with dark, gentle, but sad faces. They were carrying the branches of lotus. Some of the sailors eat lotus, and it had a strange effect on them. The flower makes them lazy, sleepy, or you can say lethargic. They plop down on the beach and refuse to move, insisting They are tired of war and travel all the time, and they wish to spend the rest of their lives on that island. Now I will begin with the explanation of these lines. I hope this thing is clear that Ulysses, who is also named as Odysseus, he is on his journey back to Ithaca. Ithaca, which is his hometown. He is with his crew and they are coming back after the fall of Troy. And on the way back in the sea, because of the north wind, they lose their direction and they keep on wandering aimlessly in the sea for almost 9 days. So it is very natural that the crew members, they were hungry, they were tired as they were aimlessly sailing in the sea. And they had literally lost the hope that they will be reaching their home. They had lost that hope. So it was that time, it was at that moment that Ulysses saw a land at a distance. So to boost up the morale of his crew members, he pointed in the direction of the land and he told them, courage. That is, he asked them to have courage because now they have seen the land and very soon they will be on the land where they can get the supply of food and water and whatever they need. So from here begins the very first line of the poem, courage, he said. So here he is Ulysses and pointed towards the land. This mounting wave will roll us shoreward soon. So what do we see? Ulysses is pointing towards the land and he is asking his crew members to have courage. What is he telling them? That this mounting wave, that this rising wave, it is very soon going to move us towards the shore. In the afternoon, they came unto a land in which it seemed always afternoon. So, finally, Ulysses, along with his crew, reaches on that land. So, it was almost afternoon and they reached there. But what did they notice? You can see in the two lines, line number 3 and 4, he has used the word afternoon twice, right? So this is to lay the emphasis that the atmosphere of the place, of that island, was lethargic. See, what does the word afternoon symbolize? Afternoon is a time when after lunch we feel sleepy or lethargic or languid. So here, the atmosphere of this place is, it appears as if it is always afternoon. That is, there is that laziness in the atmosphere. All round the coast, the languid air did swoon, breathing like one that hath a weary dream. Now he's talking about the air of that island. All around the coast, what did he see? The air was languid. That is, even it was moving very slow, as if even it was in a lethargic mood. And swoon again means faint. That is, the air was very slow. It was as if it was breathing like a person who is having a strange dream. So here we see air has been personified because air is breathing like a person who is having a strange dream. Full-faced above the valley stood the moon. And here, although it is afternoon, but full moon can be seen in the sky. And like a downward smoke, the cylinder stream along the cliff to fall and pause and fall did seem. So here, like a downward smoke, just as the vapors, they gradually settle down. So here, he is now describing the stream. Initially, the first description was of the atmosphere. It was afternoon. What time it was afternoon. Then he talks about the coast, where the air was languid. Then he tells us that despite of afternoon, there is the moon shining. Full moon can be seen shining. And now he's talking about, definitely these people must have taken a look around, and what did they find? That they were stream. There was a cylinder. Slender means a narrow stream which was flowing along the cliff, and it appeared as if the stream, it was falling from the cliff, then it paused, and then again it fall. So that strangeness, that lethargicness, that was there in the environment. So when they were looking at the stream, most probably they were looking from a distance. So that was the reason. See, a lot of imagery has been used in this poem. Whatever, like when we go from one line to another line, you can visualize, you can see the image of what we are reading. So he has given a very beautiful description of that place, right? Although the atmosphere is lethargic, but a very beautiful description of the landscape of that island has been given by Tennyson to us. So now coming to line number 10, a land of streams, some like a downward smoke, slow dropping veils of thinnest lawn did go, and some through wavering lights and shadows broke. So on taking a deeper look, they could make out that it was a land of streams. There were a number of streams there. So now he is describing what kind of streams were there. So some of the streams were like downward smoke, as if smoke was going downward. Slow dropping veil. So veil, what does the word veil means? Veil, it is a net which is worn over the face, जिसे हम हिंदी में पर्दा भी कहते हैं, of thinnest lawn. Lawn here is the type of, it is a kind of material which is used to make veil. Okay, so here lawn doesn't mean the grass. So, and some through wavering lights, and some of these streams, we could see light falling on them, and some were shadowy. Rolling the slumberous sheet of foam below. Slumber means sleepy. And we could see there was rolling, they were flowing with sheet of foam. Foam is jhag. They saw the gleaming river seaward flow. And what did they see? There was another river which was gleaming, which was shining bright, and it was flowing towards the sea from the inner land. That is, from the inland, the river, that shining river, it was flowing outwards towards the sea. Far off, 3 mountain tops, 3 silent pinnacles of aged snow, stood sunset flushed and dewed with showery drops. And then, after describing these streams, he, that is the poet, talks about 3 mountain tops, far off. That is, they were far away. The place where Ulysses and his crew were, these mountains, they were very far away from that place. And then he calls these as 3 silent pinnacle. Pinnacle is the peak of aged snow. Aged snow means because these mountain tops, they were always covered with snow. Snow had been there from ages. So aged snow, which never melted. It had been there. Stood sun-flushed, sunset flushed. So sunset flushed means these mountain tops, which were covered with snow, they were lit up and were colored by the setting sun. Sunset. So from the word sunset, we can make out it is evening, late evening, and it is with those last rays of sun which were falling on the top of the mountain, that they were shining, dewed with showery drops, and they were dewdrops in the form of shower. They were there on the mountain top. Up clove the shadowy pine above the woven copse. And the other things that they saw was up clomb. So clomb here means climb. So climbing up the shadowy pine. Pine trees, normally, they grow on the heights, height of the mountain, on the upper side of the mountain, above the woven copse. So on the ground, we could see copse. Copse means a little groove of trees. Okay, groove of trees. पेड़ों का छोटा सा झुरमुट, वो कहाँ था? पहाड़ी के नीचे की तरफ. And the pines, they grow on the top, mountain top. So shadowy pine, because it is evening, the sun is setting. So the sun rays can be seen on the top of the mountains. Okay, so the mountain top is light up and colored by the setting sun. Those orangish, reddish colored light is falling on the top of the mountain. And the other thing that is visible is the pine trees that are growing there on the near the top. And we can even see the copse, C-O-P-S-E, copse, which is the groove of trees were growing. So this is a really beautiful description of the topography of that island. Coming to line number 19, the charmed sunset lingered low adown in the red west. Through mountain clefts the dale was seen far inland, and the yellow down border with palm and many a winding vale and meadow set with cylinder galingale. So the charmed sunset. So charmed as if it was under some magical spell. So sunset is so beautiful. It is a beautiful sight. Lingered low adown. So lingering on, that is because the atmosphere is so lethargic of that atmosphere, it appears as if the sunset is also lingering on. That is, the sun is setting slowly and gradually in the red west. The sun, it sets in the west, in the western direction, right? So the western horizon can be seen red in color because the sun is setting. Through mountain clefts, the dale was seen far inland. And from the mountain clefts, that is the breaks, we can see the break in the mountain. So from those breaks or from those gaps, the dale means valley, was seen far inland. So we could see from those gaps in the mountain, the valley, which was far inland in the land. And the yellow down border with palm. And because it is sunset time, we can see the sky on one side, it is red, and the other color, it is all, we can see nature's colors, all different bright colors when the sun is setting. So yellow colored border. And many a winding vale. So winding is zigzag, valleys and meadows. So when the sun is setting, one thing that comes to our mind is just as there is that the atmosphere of laziness Same happens here. Sun, it appears as if even it is moving or it is setting very slowly in the western horizon. And from between the breaks or the gaps of the mountain, we can see there is a valley and winding valleys and meadows. There are even grasslands that can be seen on that island, set with slender galingale. So galingale, it is a kind of a grass. It even look like a coconut tree when it is seen from the top, that grass growing. A land where all things always seem the same. So this land where where Ulysses along with his crew has landed, what is he saying? It appears that everything is same here, that nothing changed. And round about the keel with faces pale, dark faces pale against that rosy flame, the mild-eyed melancholy lotus eaters came. So now what happened? Round about the keel. Keel means the front part of the boat with faces pale. So on the front side of the boat, we can see the lotus eaters, they are coming. Their faces are pale and dark faces pale against the rosy flame. So now we see for the first time, what did he say? Pale faces. And now he's saying dark faces. So maybe it is because of the rosy flame. Rosy flame is the sun's, because the sun is setting. So the color, maybe the hue, it changes from the angle where they are standing. And one more thing, it is said, most probably this island, it was somewhere near Africa. So maybe these people are African, and that is the reason their faces are dark. But when the sun rays fall on their face, they appeared pale. The mild-eyed melancholy lotus eaters came. Mild-eyed means from their expression, we can make out they were calm, they were friendly. But there was a melancholy, there was a sadness on their face. And who were these? These were the lotus eaters, people who ate lotus. So these lotus eaters, they came near the ship of Ulysses. Branches they bore of that enchanted stem, laden with flower and fruit, whereof they gave to each. So when these lotus eaters, they came, what were they carrying? They were carrying the stems of, they were carrying the branches of that enchanted. Enchanted, it means which has a magical quality. So they were carrying the magical branches which were laden with flowers and fruits, whereof they gave to each. And they gave to each one of the crew members and also Ulysses a branch. So each of them were gifted a branch of lotus flower. But whoso did receive of them and taste, to him the gushing of the wave far, far away did seem to moan and rave on alien shores. So what happened? Whoso, whereof they whoso did receive of them. Whoso did receive of them means, see, if there were 50 people, so all 50 of them got the branches, but only few of them tasted it. Only few of them tasted the fruit or the flower which was growing on that branch. So what happened? Those selected few who had consumed the flower, they had an intoxicating effect on their senses because of that flower. To him is the person who has eaten the lotus flower. The gushing of the wave far, far away did seem. It appeared to him as if the sound of the wave is coming from far away, to mourn and rave on alien shores, as if the sound was as if someone was moaning. Rave means to talk irrationally, that they were not talking sense on some, and they were on some alien shores. That is, they were on some strange island. So this lotus flower or fruit which they had consumed had an intoxicating effect on them. Sound of the waves, it appeared to be coming from far away. That is, the sounds fainted. And those sounds, they had strange effect on their mind. They felt as if someone was moaning or someone was talking irrationally on that alien shore. And if his fellow spake, his voice was thin as voices from the grave. So here there is a simile. His fellow, that is his fellow member, spake means to speak. His voice was thin. And if any of his companion or crew member would speak, his voice was thin. कैसी आवाज सुनाई पड़ रही है? बहुत ही महीन सी आवाज. As voices from the grave. So this is a simile, just as a voice from the grave, thin voice. And deep asleep he seemed, yet all awake, and music in his ears his beating heart did make. So they all were in a state of trance, as if they were under some magical spell, or they have been intoxicated, and everything happened after they had eaten this lotus fruit. So although they all were awake, but it appeared as if they were in deep sleep. And music in his ears his beating heart did make. The only sound which was audible to them was their heartbeat. But that too appeared as the sound of music. They set them down upon the yellow sand, between the sun and moon upon the shore. So what happened? Now they are intoxicated, and one more thing is there. They had been traveling for this journey, this voyage in sea had been almost for 10 years. And then those last 9 days when they were wandering about aimlessly in the sea. So it had a very bad effect on them. They were extremely tired, fatigued, and they wanted rest. And on coming on this island, and after eating this fruit, what do we see? They are intoxicated and they have no control over their senses. And this is not the case with everyone, because only few of them had consumed the fruit. Most probably they were hungry. So that was the reason. But Ulysses has not eaten it. He had not eaten it. So those who had eaten the lotus fruit, what did they do? Now they were sitting on the yellow sand, that is on the beach they were sitting, between the sun and moon upon the shore. So on the one side we could see the sun setting and the moon rising, and these people were sitting there on the seashore. And sweet it was to dream of fatherland, of child and wife and slave. And there they were dreaming about their fatherland, that is their homeland, their family, their child, their wife, and also their slaves. They could dream of everyone, but they were in no condition to move. But moreover, most weary seemed the sea, weary the oar, weary the wandering fields of barren foam. So they are able to dream. They can think about their family, even about their slaves. But the strange part was that the sea, it seemed to be very tiring. Even the oars with which they were rowing their boat, that seemed tiring to them. Weary the wandering fields of barren foam. So here barren foam, this is representing the open sea, the ocean. So he has poetically described the fields of wandering foam. Okay, this is the open ocean which he is referring to. So we can see the emphasis here in these two lines is on the word weary. Weary sea, weary ore, weary ocean, or the barren foam. So they are extremely tired, fatigued. Then someone said, "We will return no more." So now, when they are relaxing on the coast or on the seashore, one of the crew members said, "We will return no more." And all at once they sang, "Our island home is far beyond the wave. We will no longer roam." So all of them, it had been years, decades, they were on this perilous journey. They had that great war which they fought, the war of Troy. After defeating Troy, they were coming back. And again, that long journey of 10 years. So they are fatigued. Only thing that comes to their mind is they don't want to travel anymore. And they are in no mood of returning back home because they are very well aware that they will have to travel again for months to reach their home. So that is the reason they are saying our island home is far beyond the wave. We will no longer roam. हम इसके आगे नहीं जाएंगे क्योंकि हम बहुत ज़्यादा थक चुके हैं. Now, theme of this poem, first one is man and natural world. So the whole poem depicts nature and its impact on man. Mariners, they were tired of 10 years of war and hardships, so they wished to live and enjoy their life in nature on this island. They are in no condition to begin a new journey or a new voyage. Second theme is of time. Time moves very fast. The mariners are missing their family and home, but they know that their return after a decade will bring disturbance in their family's life. So time plays a major role here. Third theme is death. So after facing hardships in battle and perilous journey, they land on the island of lotus eaters. They want to sleep, dream, and wait there only for death. So they express their desire for long rest or death. That is, they are so tired facing these hardships that they wish to travel no longer. They, they desire to stay here on this island to rest and are ready to face even the death. So to conclude, I would say the poem is divided into two parts. The part one, it has 5 stanzas, and all the 5 stanzas, they are comprised of 9 lines, which we call as a Spenserian stanza. The same style was used by Edmund Spenser in Faerie Queene. The first 8 lines are written in iambic pentameter, and the last line in Alexandrine. Coming to the rhyming scheme, it is AB, AB, BC, BC, and the last line is C. The second part of this poem is titled Choric Song, and it has 8 stanzas, but those stanzas are not of the same length. They are of varying length and different rhyming scheme. So with this, we come to an end of the explanation of the poem The Lotus Eaters, Part 1. Thank you so much.